What's going on, Mad Maniacs, and welcome back to Mad About Disney. I got new glasses, but you can clearly see the light reflection in them, so I will not be wearing them for this video. So if I'm blindly looking in the camera's direction, that's why. So, last night we lost another good soldier. A few weeks ago I made a video about the closing of Club Cool and Interventions, and last night we lost Illumination's Reflections of Earth. And while this show closing was certainly an event that I thought would be worthy of a video, I had previously just made a different EPCOT video and figured that other people would be making Illuminations videos, so I didn't want to devote a whole video to that. But instead I am making a video today, which is being recorded on October 1st, but this probably won't go out on the 1st. It'll probably go out on the 2nd or 3rd, but today marks the beginning of a new era for EPCOT. The closing of Illuminations symbolizes the end of what we know to be EPCOT and the beginning of the new EPCOT. Already the park has had multiple changes occur on October 1st today, including updates to signage at the new EPCOT experience in the Odyssey Pavilion, and then EPCOT Forever, the new fireworks show, which will only run for about 6 months, is premiering tonight. So as we enter this new era of EPCOT, I decided I would make a video sharing my thoughts on what's to come for EPCOT. Now, if you don't know already, here's a quick rundown of some of the stuff that will be coming. Feel free to skip to the time below here in case you already know the stuff and you don't need an update. The Future World section of EPCOT will be rebranded to 3 neighborhoods: World Celebration, World Nature, and World Discovery. In World Discovery, they are building the new Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind coaster, which I am very much looking forward to, but thoughts on that later. They will also be opening the new Space 220 restaurant next to Mission Space. And I also would like to note there will be small changes throughout the entire park, including extra food booths and etc. and signage changing, but I'm not really going to go over that. In the spine of EPCOT, which will now be called World Celebration, Spaceship Earth will get a complete overhaul, with the main plot of the ride remaining the same, but now a new story light will guide you through, and instead of telling you the story of communication, it will tell you the story of storytelling. In the rest of World Celebration, we have the removal of interventions, which will make way for new space for various, greenery and such like that, a new statue of Walt, and a new building that looks kind of like a table from IKEA that will be used for, I think, the Festival Center. Also in World Celebration is Journey into Imagination, which we have no updates on, but I think there could be something new coming to that in the future. And then we have World Nature on the right side, where the Land and Seas is now. The Land is getting a new show in replacement of the Circle of Life film that was there previously. As far as we know, Soarin' and Living with the Land are remaining generally the same, as is The Seas with Nemo and Friends, although expect minor changes in this area as well. The new addition to this land is the Moana Journey of Water attraction, which will be a walk-through water-themed attraction on your way from the central spine towards the seas. I would also like to mention before we move back to World Showcase that they are also redoing the front entrance of the park. They have already removed the Leave a Legacy stones and will be replacing that with greenery, as well as a recreation of the original EPCOT fountain that stood in front of Spaceship Earth when the park opened in 1982. As far as World Showcase goes, we got an announcement of a Mary Poppins attraction coming to the United Kingdom Pavilion, which we have very little details on yet, but we are hoping that it will be a higher budget ride so that we can get a full experience. We also know of a Beauty and the Beast show coming to France, along with the Ratatouille attraction, which should open in 2020, as well as new shows in Canada and China, I believe. And I don't have notes for this, so this is all just coming off of what I know, so I might mess something up or forget something. And there is still a little bit of hope in me that believes that a Brazil pavilion will be coming sometime soon, although I won't talk much about that today since it is not formally announced. Alright, so today I will be giving my thoughts on the changes coming to EPCOT from a general perspective, also to a narrowed down perspective for various attractions. So let's start general. I think overall the changes coming to EPCOT are positive in my opinion. Obviously, I'm nostalgic for things like Club Cool Interventions and Reflections of Earth, but I think in the long run they were things that needed to be replaced. I'm not super keen on Epcot adding a ton of IPs such as Guardians of the Galaxy, as much as I think that will be a fun ride, and the new Harmony Us show, which will replace Epcot forever, which will have a lot of IPs in it, as well as Moana and, just other IPs in general kind of getting seeped into Epcot, Ratatouille, Mary Poppins. But overall, I think that this is kind of just the direction Disney is going, and I think it's best to just embrace it and hope that Disney can do a cohesive job with these IPs and at least make them feel like they are meant to be there and not just have them thrown in. As far as the new logo, I like it. It pays tribute to the original Epcot Center, and I'm very happy that they brought back all of the individual pavilion logos and added some new ones, obviously, for the park. Now down to the details. The park entrance, I'll skip right over because I like the changes that they're making, and there's not much more that needs to be said about that. Spaceship Earth, however, I am kind of upset about what they're doing. Everything's good, updated story good, the story light is good, telling about the history of storytelling rather than communication is good, and at the very end of the announcement they threw in a clip of the grandmother from Moana, which basically means that there will be IPs coming to Spaceship Earth. This is not something I'm happy about. Spaceship Earth is an Epcot staple, and it is something that has been there since the park opened. There have been very little changes made, and I'm not opposed to making changes. But in my opinion, adding IPs removes the identity of the ride and changes it to something else. Soon enough, Spaceship Earth will be marketed as an IP-centric ride, and at that point we've pretty much lost the ride as we know it. As far as the changes for the rest of World Celebration, I'm happy that they're adding more greenery and more space. I'm excited for the new IKEA table building. I think this space will be good for fireworks viewing and other stuff like that. Journey into Imagination has no new announcements planned, but I hope that they do some sort of update in the future, but keep Figment. Don't replace Journey into Imagination with something else. Keep it as it is, in the sense that keep it with Figment, but just, update it, make it newer, or as some would hope, older, and kind of revert it back to the original idea from the 1982 edition. As far as World Nature, not much to say here. The land is remaining basically the same other than the new Moana experience, which I'm excited for. It's basically going to take up what was dead space and turn it into something interesting, but it's not super exciting in the sense that I'm excited and I'll see. World Discovery. Guardians of the Galaxy is a very controversial topic. Not many people wanted this ride in Epcot, and I was a little bit skeptical myself when they announced it. It didn't fit at the time. At this point, I've convinced myself that Epcot is going to become an IP park whether we want it to or not, so I might as well embrace the fact that this ride is coming and say that I am very excited for it. While I may not agree with its addition to Epcot, I am stoked for the new roller coaster system that they're adding with the spinning, similar to one of my favorite rides, which is Laugh Track at Hershey Park. But the cool thing is that the system will lock in certain rotations so that you can see various set pieces throughout the ride and then go back to its, normal. But it's not just going to spin, it's going to move strategically, which I think is awesome. The Space 220 restaurant that they're adding is a very ambitious project that I am very much looking forward to. Having a restaurant that is completely surrounded by screens is basically a precursor to the Star Wars Hotel that is coming to near Hollywood Studios in a few years, and I hope that Disney does a good job with this restaurant as far as the theming, but also the menu. Disney has an opportunity here to make this a very interesting and unique experience, and I hope they do a good job with it and don't just make it cheesy. And then as far as World Showcase goes, I'm relatively pleased with what they're doing. I was hoping for a Brazil pavilion or just any other pavilion, not that there was any rumors of that, but I am happy with the announcements they made. The Ratatouille ride, which we obviously knew about already, is something I'm looking forward to. I have ridden it once before in Disneyland Paris, and while it's not something super crazy to get excited about, it is a fun ride that will make a good addition to the World Showcase, balancing out where the rides are, because right now Mexico and Norway have the two rides and they're right next to each other, so France will balance it out a bit more. And since we're balancing it out, we would need another ride near France, which they are adding the Mary Poppins ride. There has been a long rumor that the Mary Poppins ride would be a low-budget ride that wouldn't really be that immersive. And while we didn't get any details on the ride, at D23 we did see a single piece of concept art showing Cherry Tree Lane. And in my opinion, Disney will not put this much effort into the outside of the attraction if they are not going to put as much detail into the inside of the attraction. I am hoping for a Mary Poppins ride that is a dark ride style, maybe trackless ride, but Whatever it is, I hope that it is a higher budget ride. There is a rumor that because you can see people going into the Banks' house in the concept art, that the ride would just be a walk-through attraction of the house. Personally, however, I believe that this will be the queue, and the queue will take you through the house, and that the actual ride will be separate. There is plenty of space back there for them to do a full-scale ride, and as long as Disney has the money, I hope that they do. Lastly, I will talk about the fireworks. I am always skeptical of fireworks shows. I was skeptical when they announced that Wishes was closing and that they were going to replace it with Happily Ever After, and Happily Ever After is one of my favorite shows. That being said, I am slightly disappointed that there's going to be such a heavy IP presence in the new show Harmonious. I feel that the EPCOT Forever show that they will be running for the next 6 months is kind of just to give EPCOT fans one last breath of that EPCOT era before they take it all away, which is not what I want. I wish that Disney would turn Harmonious into a show that balances IPs and the original ideas behind Illuminations, Reflections of Earth, and the previous variations of that show that preceded it. EPCOT is about celebrating the culture and people of the world. Whether it is about the world itself or the technologies of the world, whether it is about the world itself, the technology that the world brings, or just the people. I'm worried that this IP presence in the show will lack that EPCOT feeling that really brings us all together, which is part of the reason people were so sad to see Illuminations, Reflections of Earth go. And with that is my thoughts on the changes coming to EPCOT. I'm sorry I haven't been making videos as much lately, but with school starting up again, I have been swamped with work, but I'm going to try to get back into a more regular routine of making videos. I'm still working through the vlogs from my June trip, and I am happy to announce that I will be going back in November, so you can expect some new vlogs coming post the end of November. I'm very excited because I will get to go to Galaxy's Edge for the first time, and I already have my Oga's Cantina reservation, so expect some clips from there. I also will see EPCOT Forever, and I will give my thoughts on that, as well as other smaller additions and changes since I went in June. And with that being said, that is all for now, and I will see all of you Mad Maniacs in the next video.